Okay, I read somewhere that you're working on a new album, or is that fact?
We are. Well, the partner that I had on Bat Out of Hell, Jim Steinman, and I are working together again, and he just finished a project 4 weeks ago, and he's writing right now. So we've been out on the road in America since February 10th, and now we're going to come over and do a few shows here. Then we go back and we go down south. We go to the southwest in America. Then we go to Iceland, and then we come back, and then we're back into Scandinavia, and then we go back and we go to Western Canada and the western part of L.A. I mean the western part of the United States, L.A. Go to West L.A. and so we're out on the road till September, and then we go in the studio, and that's basically the story.
When do you hope to have that out? The next album?
Quick. I mean, you know, I don't know.
What can we expect to hear on that album? Any idea yet at all?
No.
I read in one of the music magazines it's going to be Bat Out of Hell Part 2.
Oh, that's because that's what they... No. No, I have said that on stage. Well, what I say is, well, I guess it's going to be called... No, I said, well, I guess it's Bat Out of Hell number 2. Actually, we know the title of the album. It's called Neverland. And you're the first person I've ever told that to. So anyway, here it is. It's Neverland. But I know 2 songs, and they're, you know, it's what I do. It's like, you know, asking Bruce Springsteen, what's your next album going to sound like? It's going to sound like Bruce Springsteen, you know, so.
Jim Steinman's producing it.
Yeah, Jim and myself.
What have you been doing the past few years? You said you've been touring here lately. But what have you been up to?
I've been working, touring. We just did a big tour in this area last year, into Germany and England, and we did a lot of summer festivals last summer. We were here last July, August 1st, something like that. Since '84, I've been on the road, but I've done 3 films also since '84 and 3 records. So, just been busy. No, because I had 2 films that I could have done right now, and I chose not to do them because we had not toured in America on an extensive basis. Most of our touring's been in Europe and in Australia and some in the Far East. And so we had not toured America. I just said that for a long time on a consistent basis. So that's what I'm doing now, basically.
Your popularity in Europe has been pretty steady here.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to? The constant touring?
No, I just think there's more. I think in Europe they play more stuff. I mean, it's very. In America, there's a playlist, and that playlist might consist of 30 songs, and that's all over the country. Where in Europe, there's different countries, plus there's a lot of different acts. A lot of different acts get heard. There's a lot more sources for video. There's a lot more sources for live shows. There's just a lot more music stuff goes on in Europe. So the opportunities have been there. We've done it, and you know, it's proved good for us. So that's why. But I mean, they have, you know, program people that program Kansas City and Omaha and New York, and they play the same 40 songs over a stretch of, you know, 3,000 miles. And now that America's starting to back out of that a bit, they've gone from what used to be called AOR, album-oriented rock, to now classic rock. And so there's a lot of stations going back to what they call classic rock and roll, which is basically AOR.
The Rocky Horror Picture Show, what do you, the cult following, or the cult status of that movie now, what do you think of that? I mean,
I don't know. You know, it's a classic film. I've done, you know, two things that are basically classic kind of things. I mean, Bat Out of Hell has sold, and it's still, I mean, it just keeps selling. In America, it's selling about 23,000 a week at the moment. It just keeps selling. It's over 16 million copies, and just, it doesn't stop. So that's one classic thing that I've done, and the other one's Rocky Horror. And as a performer and entertainer, if you can do two classic things and make them in different fields, you know, it's great. I mean, when I first saw the film, I didn't like it, but that's beside the point. You know, I first heard a song called "Took the Words Right Out of My Mouth." I hated it, but so what? What do I know?
Yeah, Paradise was a hit here last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, came back. Paradise is becoming a hit in America at the moment. So, second time it's been a hit in Holland. Number one the first time, and what did it get to the last 6, 7, 9, 5? I don't know. Top 10. We'll just say top 10.
Have you got a new band now with you? I mean, for the album.
For which album?
The one in the future that you're going to record, to start recording in September.
Well, 3 of the people that will be playing on that record: the bass player, the guitar player, and the drummer. And the girls will be singing some. I don't know how much right now, but they'll be singing some. But it's Pat Thrall on guitar. What I've done is I've put together a basic unit which can do anything. Pat Thrall was Guitar Player of the Year 2 years, in '80 and '83 in Guitar Player magazine, and he's brilliant. And Chuck Berge, who's on drums, has played with Hall & Oates and Rainbow and has recorded with those people and lots of people. And Steve Buslow has been playing with me for 11 years, plus doing stuff like Bonnie Tyler and I can't even say, you know, my mind's gone. Bonnie Tyler's the only one that came to mind, and my other guys, I can't think of them. But a lot of them, he's played on a lot of hit records. He plays a lot of studio stuff in New York when we're not on the road. But we've been on the road basically, except for we took off November and December and January. And other than that, we've been on the road almost constantly for 2 years, except for those 3 months.
Have any of the band that's here with you now, were they on the Bat Out of Hell, any of them?
Steve, bass player.
A lot of bands now with their new albums, they're special guests, they're having other people. I mean, well, you had...
That only works. That's great. I mean, I can tell you about a zillion albums that, who was the guy that did Live Aid? Bob Geldof. There's a perfect example. Bob Geldof had everybody and their mother on his record, and it didn't help. The only way that ever helps, if I have George Harrison on my record and it's number 3, then it gets a little bit more press because George Harrison is playing on the record. But other than that, just because George Harrison's on the record is no sign that anybody's going to play it. You know, I mean, perfect example of that was in 1981. I did a duet with Cher, which was a big hit over here. That record sold about 5 million copies throughout Europe. And in America, nobody played it. In fact, the other day I wanted to call up a radio station, which is Z100 in America, and they said she just did a duet with Peter Cetera, and they said, well, that's the first duet since Sunny. And I went, wait a minute, what about the 5 million copies Dead Ringer for Love Soul? What are you guys, crazy or something? You know, but there's, I mean, I did a duet with Roger Daltrey as well, you know, and they don't care. I mean, if it's a hit, then it's Roger Daltrey's on this, or Cher's doing this, or Eric Clapton's on here, you know. It doesn't make any difference until it does something. And then people go, oh, wow, Eric Clapton's on guitar. I mean, it's nice to have them. It's fun to meet them and get them to play because there's a lot of great players. And I've had a lot of great players, you know, do stuff. And, I mean, that's always fun. Like Roger Daltrey and I and Cher and I became good friends. Except I've known Roger for about 20 years. So, excuse me. You know, but Cher and I became friends at that point, and we still are. And that's great.
Are there any plans to work with anybody on this next album?
Oh, not now. I mean, we're real early. But there will be another duet, you know, so we'll see. I mean, there's always plans to work with somebody. Just don't know who they are.
Bat Out of Hell was, of course, your most popular album, especially in the States. What was your favorite? Is that your favorite?
Well, that and an album called Bad Attitude. I like those. Those were my two favorites.
I just saw live.
I haven't done my favorite one yet.
I saw a live album just recently here. It was from '87.
Yeah. No. No, I own that.
Are you going to be doing, you said you know a couple of the songs from the new album. Are you going to be doing them on this tour at all?
One of them. The other one, nobody knows in the band yet. It's called Who Does the Dirty. Who Do the Dirty, I guess you.
Are you writing?
No. No, that's what Jim does. But I change things. And we actually get together right when I come, on the 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And then I'm gone again. But we're going to work for those 3 days on the stuff he's got. So I'll change things and give him some ideas for some stuff. Because it's like I give him ideas because he's got a real way with words, you know. Like Paradise by the Dashboard Light is really based on something that happened when I was a kid. We used to go to this particular lake, and I had this '63 red Ford convertible, and I explained it to Jim that the dashboard looked like, you know, and then I came up with let's do the play-by-play, the first base, second base thing, and then he wrote the song. We sit out front of his apartment, and I went through this whole thing, and then he wrote the song, and I said, okay, that's good, let's do this and that, and that's how we work. I let him go, and then I do little things, and you know, but he writes it. I mean, it's him.
Who are some of your influences? Do you have any?
Yeah, Bob Lilly, Fuzzy Thurston, Leroy Jordan, E.J. Holub. Do you know who those people are? Got any idea? Huh? E.J. Holub, middle linebacker for Kansas City Chiefs. Bob Lilly, defensive tackle, Dallas Cowboys. Fuzzy Thurston, first pulling guard for the Green Bay Packers. Those are my idols. Those are my influences.
Musically influenced.
You know, most of the people that I listen to, I know. So it's like, you know, Billy Joel and Bruce and ZZ Top and people that, you know, like, that I just know, you know.
Is there any question that you, I mean, I'm sure you do lots of it.
Is there any question? No.
No? Okay.
I have been asked everything that I can think of. I think I've even been asked that before. Is there any question you want to? Is there anything you want to ask?
I'd just like to say it.
Where are you from? I'm going to ask you a question.
So that's what I mean. Where are you from? You're from?
From Texas originally, yeah.
Where do you live now?
In Connecticut. So you're from Minnesota? Where's the cameraman from?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. Now, I did a film in North Carolina called The Squeeze with Michael Keaton and Ray Don Chong in Wilmington at DEG. So that's what I know about North Carolina. Now, we were just in North Carolina. Asheville? Yeah. Asheville and Charlotte. There you go. My experience is North Carolina, and we're going to Minneapolis.
What do you think of some acts like Guns N' Roses?
I think they're horrible. Are you running? No, I don't. No, stop this thing.